The dust storm hit Haven 7 at sunset, just like it did every third day. Lisa Martinez stood at the window of the medical bay, watching red clouds roll across the barren landscape. Her stomach hurt. It had hurt for months now. Everyone's stomach hurt on Haven 7. 3 years ago, the colony had 400 people. Now only 87 remained. The supply ship stopped coming after the company went bankrupt. No rescue, no food deliveries, just silence from Earth. Lisa touched the protein bar in her jacket pocket. It was her last one. She had been saving it for 2 weeks, taking only water and the thin soup the colony rationed each day. The bar would give her enough energy to work one more week. Maybe two if she was careful. "Lisa, we need you in the main hall." Greg Palmer's voice came through her radio. He was the colony administrator, though there was little left to administrate. Emergency meeting. She walked through the empty corridors. Most rooms sat unused now. The colony had been built for 400. 87 people felt like ghosts haunting a dead place. The main hall held about 60 colonists. The others were too weak to leave their beds. Bate Jordan sat near the front, her 2 children pressed against her sides. The kids had thin faces and hollow eyes. Lisa looked away. Greg stood on the small stage. "There's been a crash. Alien ship came down about 2 miles from the perimeter. Happened during the storm." The room erupted in voices. Aliens meant technology. Technology meant possible food, fuel, or ways to call for help. "We don't have the energy to salvage anything," said. He was head of security, though he mostly enforced the food rations now. "It's too far. We'd burn more calories walking there than we'd gain from anything we found." "We have to try," someone shouted. "We tried last time," shot back. "Remember the Hendersons? They went out to check that meteor impact. Never came back, starved on the walk." Greg raised his hands. "We vote, those in favor of sending a team." About 20 hands went up. The rest stayed down. People were too tired to care anymore. "Motion fails," Greg said. "We stay put and focus on conserving energy." Lisa felt something twist in her chest. What if there are survivors? The room went quiet. "Then they'll die," said flatly. "Just like we're dying, we can't save anyone. We can barely save ourselves." "We don't know that," Lisa argued. "What if they have supplies? What if they can help us?" "Help us?" laughed, but it was a bitter sound. "Look at us, Lisa. We're walking skeletons. What alien is going to help a failed colony on a rock nobody cares about?" Greg sighed. "Lisa, even if there are survivors, we have nothing to offer them. No food, no medicine, no strength. What would you even do?" "I'm a medic," she said. "I check for survivors, that's what we do." "That's what we used to do," Greg corrected. "Now we survive, that's all we can do." The meeting ended. People shuffled back to their rooms. Bate caught Lisa's arm as she passed. "You're going anyway, aren't you?" Bate asked quietly. Lisa didn't answer. "Be careful," Bate said. "My kids need you, I need you." Lisa walked back to the medical bay. She gathered a basic kit and put on her environment suit. The suit hung loose on her body. She had lost 40 pounds since the famine started. The protein bar sat on her desk. She picked it up and stared at it. This was her lifeline, her last piece of real food. If she ate it, she could work another week. If she didn't, she would start to fail like the others. She put it in her pocket and headed for the airlock. The walk to the crash site took 90 minutes. Lisa's legs shook. Her vision blurred twice. She stopped to rest 4 times. The crashed ship was partially buried in sand, its hull split open. Bodies lay scattered around the wreckage. The aliens were tall and covered in fur, with powerful limbs and sharp teeth. Predators, Lisa thought. They looked like they came from a world where strength mattered. She searched the ship carefully. Most of the crew was dead. The ship's life support was failing, its power cells nearly drained. Then she heard it, a small sound, a whimper. In the corner of what looked like a sleeping area, something moved. Lisa approached slowly. It was a child, an alien child, much smaller than the adults. The little creature was curled into a ball, shaking. Its fur was patchy and thin. Its limbs looked fragile compared to the powerful bodies of the adult aliens. The child looked up at Lisa with large, frightened eyes. Lisa knelt down. The child whimpered again. It was starving. Lisa could see its ribs through its thin fur. She reached into her pocket and felt the protein bar. Her last food. The thing that would keep her alive another week. The child's eyes followed her hand. Lisa thought about her own daughter. Emma had been 6 when the famine started. She had died 8 months ago, her small body too weak to fight anymore. Lisa had held her at the end, wishing she could give Emma more food, more strength, more time. This alien child looked at her the same way Emma had looked at her, desperate, helpless, dying. Lisa's hands shook as she unwrapped the protein bar. She broke off a piece and held it out. The child sniffed it carefully, then took a small bite. Its eyes widened. It ate the piece quickly, then looked at Lisa with hope. She fed the child the rest of the bar, piece by piece, until it was gone. The child's shaking slowed. Some strength returned to its small body. It reached out and touched Lisa's hand gently. "It's okay," Lisa whispered. "You're okay now." She picked up the child. It was lighter than Emma had been. She wrapped it in a thermal blanket from her kit and started the long walk back to the colony. The child fell asleep against her chest. Lisa's stomach cramped with hunger. She had just given away her last food to an alien child that might not even survive. But she couldn't leave it to die alone. She was human. Humans didn't leave children to die, even alien children. The colony came into view as the sun set. Lisa's legs nearly gave out twice. The child woke up and made small sounds, like it was trying to comfort her. She entered through the airlock and walked straight into Greg Palmer. "Lisa, where have you been?" He looked angry. Then he saw the bundle in her arms. "What is that?" "A survivor," she said. "A child." People gathered around, pushed through the crowd and stared at the alien child. "You brought back another mouth to feed." His voice was cold. "We're starving, Lisa. We can't feed ourselves. And you brought back an alien." "She's a child," Lisa said firmly. "She was dying." "We're all dying," someone shouted from the crowd. Greg held up his hands. "Lisa, take it to medical. Gather the council. We need to discuss this." Lisa carried the child to the medical bay. The small creature clung to her now, afraid of all the angry voices. Bait appeared in the doorway. "Is it true you gave it your last food?" Lisa nodded. "Greg wants the alien removed," Bait said quietly. "Most of the council agrees. They want to take it back to the crash site." "They want to kill it," Lisa said. "They want us to survive," Bait corrected. "But I don't know anymore. I look at my kids and I wonder what kind of people we're becoming." The radio on Lisa's desk crackled. "Lisa Martinez, report to council chambers immediately. Bring the alien." Lisa looked down at the small creature sleeping in the medical bed. It had curled up again, its thin body finally warm and safe. "I won't let them take you," she whispered. Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor. Appeared with 2 other security officers. "Council's orders," he said. "The alien goes now." Lisa stepped in front of the bed. "No." His hand moved to his weapon. "Don't make this harder than it has to be." The small alien woke up and saw the armed men. It scrambled behind Lisa, making frightened sounds. "She's terrified," Lisa said. "She's just a child." "She's not our problem," said. "Step aside, Lisa. That's an order." Lisa didn't move. Her heart pounded. Her weak legs trembled, but she didn't step aside. Drew his weapon and pointed it at the floor. "Last warning." Behind him, more colonists gathered in the doorway. Some looked angry. Some looked uncertain. Bait stood among them, her hand covering her mouth. The small alien child pressed against Lisa's back, shaking again. And Lisa made her choice. She would not move. The standoff lasted for 10 seconds that felt like hours. Kept his weapon pointed at the floor, his jaw tight. Lisa stood in front of the medical bed, the alien child clutching her leg. Bate stepped forward from the crowd. "Put that away." "Stay out of this, Bate," he said. "I won't." Bate moved to stand beside Lisa. "That's a child. Alien or not, it's a child." "A child we can't feed," someone shouted from the back. "We can barely feed ourselves," another voice added. Greg Palmer pushed through the crowd. "Everyone calm down. Lower your weapon. Lisa, we need to talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about," Lisa said. "I'm not giving her up." "Her?" Greg looked confused. "The child is female. I checked her over. Her name is marked on her clothing, Kiva." The small alien made a sound when she heard her name. She peeked around Lisa's leg at the humans, her large eyes moving from face to face. "It doesn't matter what its name is," said. "We have 87 people and food for maybe 3 more months if we're lucky. We can't add another mouth." "Then I'll give her my rations," Lisa said. "You're already starving yourself," Greg pointed out. "You haven't been eating your full share for weeks. We've noticed." The small alien, Kiva, suddenly moved. She walked on unsteady legs to the corner of the room and picked up a container. She brought it back to Lisa and made offering gestures. "She's trying to help," Bates said softly. "She understands we're hungry." "She's an animal," snapped. "A trained response, nothing more." "She's intelligent," Lisa countered. "Look at her eyes, she knows what's happening." Kiva tilted her head and watched the humans argue. Then she did something unexpected. She pointed at herself and said something in her own language. It sounded like Kiva. Then she pointed at Lisa and waited. "She wants to know your name," Bates said, amazed. "Lisa," the medic said, pointing at herself. Kiva repeated it carefully. "Lee." The word came out rough but clear. The room went silent. Even lowered his weapon completely. "Impossible," someone whispered. "She learned an English word in seconds." Greg's expression changed. "Lisa, how fast can she learn?" "I don't know. I just met her an hour ago." A loud alarm interrupted them. The colony's communication system activated. A deep, growling voice came through the speakers, speaking English with a harsh accent. "Human colony, this is of the clan. We detected our ship's emergency beacon on your world. Do you have survivors?" Greg ran to the communications panel. "This is Administrator Greg Palmer. We have one survivor, a child." Long pause. "Identify the survivor." Greg looked at Lisa. She picked up Kiva and brought her to the screen. The child's identification tag was visible on her clothing. Another pause, longer this time. "That is Kiva, daughter of clan leader. She is the runt of the alpha litter, not worth retrieving." Lisa felt anger rise in her chest. "Not worth retrieving. She's your clan leader's daughter." "She is weak," the voice said flatly. "Clan law is clear, only the strong survive. Runts are left behind, this is our way." "That's murder," Lisa said. "That is survival," replied. "Your species would not understand. You are soft. You protect weakness." Kiva made a small sound. She had heard her clan leader's words. The small alien child trembled, and something that looked like tears formed in her eyes. Bate put her hand on Lisa's shoulder. "They're abandoning her because she's small." "Society is based on strength," continued. "Only the strongest cubs receive food and training. Kiva was born smaller than her littermates. She cannot compete. Therefore, she has no value to the clan." "She has value to me," Lisa said firmly. They made a sound that might have been laughter. "Then keep her, human. She will die soon anyway. Runts always do." Greg cleared his throat. "Our colony is in need of supplies. We have food shortages. If you could provide assistance in exchange for caring for the child." "Why would I trade valuable resources for a worthless runt?" interrupted. "You misunderstand, human. I am not asking you to care for her. I am telling you she is already dead to the clan. Do what you wish with her." The communication cut off. The room stayed silent for a moment, then spoke. "Well, that settles it. Even her own people don't want her. Let's take her back to the ship and be done with it." "No," Lisa said. The word came out hard and final. "Be reasonable," pressed. "Her own species threw her away. Why should we care?" "Because we're human," Bates said quietly. "We're better than that." "Better?" His voice rose. "We're dying, Bate. Your kids are starving. Everyone in this room is starving. And you want to waste food on an alien nobody wants." "She's a child," Bate repeated. "I look at her and I see my kids. Small, scared, hungry. If someone found my kids abandoned on a ship, I'd want them to help." Kiva had been listening to everything. The small alien walked over to Bates' children who stood near their mother. The two human kids, a boy and a girl, both thin and weak, watched Kiva approach. The alien child reached into a small pouch on her clothing and pulled out something. It looked like a compressed food bar, probably emergency rations from her ship. She held it out to Bates' son. The boy looked at his mother. Bate nodded, tears in her eyes. The boy took the food. Kiva then pulled out another piece and gave it to his sister. The small alien had just given away her own emergency food to human children she'd never met. "She's sharing," someone said, shocked. "She's starving and she's sharing." Lowered his head. "This doesn't change anything. We still can't feed her." "Actually," Greg said slowly, "maybe we can. Lisa, bring up the data you recovered from the ship." Lisa connected her equipment to the main screen. The ship's logs appeared. Greg scrolled through them. "Look at this. They eat different food than us, but their basic nutritional needs are similar. Proteins, carbohydrates, certain vitamins. We can't give Kiva our exact rations, but we can modify them." "That still uses our food," pointed out. "Less than you'd think," Greg continued. "She's small. She'd need maybe a quarter of an adult human's rations. And look here, the ship had supplies. If we can salvage them, we might actually come out ahead." "That's a big if," said. "It's a chance," Bate countered, "more than we had before." The debate continued for another hour. Finally, Greg called for a vote. 34 people voted to keep Kiva. 30 voted to return her to the ship. The rest abstained. "The colony will allow the child to stay," Greg announced. "But Lisa, she's your responsibility. Any problems and we revisit this decision." Lisa nodded. She carried Kiva back to the medical bay. The small alien curled up on the bed, exhausted from the day's events. Bate brought her children to visit. "Thank you," she told Kiva, "for sharing your food with them." Kiva didn't understand all the words, but she understood the tone. She made a gentle sound. Over the next week, Lisa worked with Kiva constantly. The small alien learned English at an incredible rate. Within 3 days, she could speak simple sentences. Within a week, she could hold basic conversations. "Why did your clan leave you?" Lisa asked one evening. Kiva's ears drooped. "I am small, weak. In clan, only strong cubs get food. Strong cubs become warriors. I cannot fight like siblings, cannot run as fast, cannot hunt as well. Mother said I shame the bloodline." "Your mother said that." Lisa felt her heart break. "It is clan law," Kiva said simply. "Weak cubs drain resources. Better to let them die so strong cubs thrive. I understand this." "No," Lisa said firmly. "That's wrong. Children aren't weak just because they're small, they're young. They need time to grow." "Do not see this way," Kiva replied. "I was born too small. I will always be too small. I bring no honor to clan." Lisa pulled the small alien into a hug. "You bring honor to yourself just by being kind. That matters more than strength." Kiva didn't understand, but she leaned into the warmth. The next day, 3 warriors appeared in orbit again. His face appeared on the communications screen. "Human colony, I have reconsidered." Greg's eyes narrowed. "Reconsidered what?" "The runt Kiva, return her to us." "I thought you said she had no value," Greg replied. I have been informed that human soft-heartedness may have value, said. My superiors suggest a trade. Return Kiva to us, and we will provide your colony with food supplies for 6 months. The colony erupted in excited voices. 6 months of food would save them all. People looked at Lisa. She looked down at Kiva, who stood beside her. The small alien had heard every word. Her eyes were wide with fear. What happens to her if we return her? Lisa asked. She rejoins the clan, said. And then? Long pause. She will be evaluated. If she shows improvement, she may be accepted. If not, she will be released to the wild lands. Released means killed, Lisa said flatly. It means she will face clan law, corrected. This is not your concern, human. She's a child, Lisa said. She is, growled. And you are starving. Take the deal, human. 6 months of food for one worthless runt. Your people will live. Greg looked at Lisa, then at the colony. Everyone was thinking the same thing. 87 lives for one alien child they barely knew. Kiva squeezed Lisa's hand. Is okay, the small alien whispered. You should trade me. Your people need food. Lisa knelt down to Kiva's level. No, never. But you will die, Kiva said, her voice breaking. Then we die human, Lisa replied. We don't trade children to save ourselves. Greg stepped forward. We decline your offer. Silence on the other end. Then a low, dangerous laugh. You choose death for all your people to save one weak alien child. We do, Greg said firmly. Then you are fools, said. You have 24 hours to reconsider. After that, we will consider you enemies of the clan for refusing legitimate trade. We will not help you again. The screen went dark. The colony stood in shocked silence. They had just refused their only chance at survival. Lisa sat with Kiva in the medical bay long after everyone else had left. The small alien was quiet, staring at her hands. You should have traded me, Kiva said finally. I am not worth death of whole colony. Don't say that, Lisa replied. Every life has worth. Not in law, not my life. Kiva looked up with sad eyes. I heard my mother speak of me once. She said I was mistake of nature, that I should have died in birthing den. Only I survived because machines kept me alive. This was wrong. Lisa felt anger burn in her chest. Not at Kiva, but at a society that made a child believe she was a mistake. Your mother was wrong, Lisa said firmly. Listen to me, Kiva. You are not a mistake. You are not worthless. You are smart, kind, and brave. Those things matter more than physical strength. But I cannot fight, Kiva said. Cannot hunt, cannot do things strong do. Maybe you're not supposed to fight, Lisa suggested. Maybe you're supposed to do different things, better things. Kiva tilted her head, confused by the idea. In her world, there was only one measure of worth, strength. Bait arrived with her children. The kids had brought small gifts for Kiva, drawings they had made. The pictures showed Kiva playing with them, smiling. Kiva touched the drawings gently. What are these? Art, Bates' daughter said. We made them for you. Why, Kiva asked. Because you're our friend, the girl replied simply. Kiva stared at the pictures for a long time. Then she made a sound that might have been crying. I have never had friends before. Other cubs pushed me away, said I made them look weak. Bates' son hugged Kiva. You're not weak, you're nice. That night the colony held another meeting. This time, the mood was different. People were scared, but something else had changed. An older man named Frank spoke first. I think we made a mistake. We should reconsider the trade. Agreed, another woman said. I don't want to die for an alien. But then Danny stood up. He was young, maybe 25, one of the original colonists. I've been thinking about what makes us different from the... We're weaker, someone muttered. No, Danny said. We're different. The throw-away children who don't meet their standards, we don't. My brother had a disability back on Earth. He couldn't walk without help. Should we have thrown him away? Silence filled the room. "The would have," Danny continued. "They'd say he was weak, a drain on resources, but my brother was a teacher. He taught hundreds of kids, changed their lives. If we start thinking like if we measure worth only by physical strength, then what are we?" Bates stood next. "My daughter was born premature. The doctors said she might not make it. We spent months in hospitals, used enormous resources to save her. By standards, we should have let her die, but look at her now." She gestured to her daughter. "She's alive, she's wonderful, she matters." More people started talking. Stories emerged. Stories of people who had been saved despite being weak or sick or disabled. Stories of humans helping each other not because it was practical, but because it was right. Stood slowly. Everyone looked at him. He was the one who had pushed hardest to get rid of Kiva. "I have a daughter back on Earth," he said quietly. "Sophie, she's 7 now, or she was when I left. I haven't seen her in 4 years. He paused. "Sophie has a heart condition. She's weak physically. Can't run like other kids, gets tired easily." He looked at Kiva, who sat beside Lisa. "If Sophie was here, if she was the one who needed help, I'd want someone to protect her, even if it cost them everything." His voice cracked. "I'm sorry, Kiva. I'm sorry I wanted to send you away. I was scared. But fear doesn't justify cruelty." Kiva walked over too. The small alien looked up at him and said something in halting English. "Is okay. You protect your people, I understand." Knelt down. "You're part of our people now, kid." Greg called for another vote. This time, 73 people voted to keep Kiva. Only 5 voted against. The rest had left to sleep or were too weak to attend. "Then it's decided," Greg said. "We keep Kiva. We face whatever comes together." The night passed slowly. Lisa tried to sleep but couldn't. Kiva curled up beside her, the small aliens breathing steady and peaceful. In the morning's deadline arrived. The warship descended toward the colony. Lisa and Greg went to the communications center. The rest of the colony gathered behind them. Everyone who could stand was there, even the weakest. His face appeared on screen. Behind him stood several armored warriors, massive and intimidating. "Your time is up, human," they said. "What is your decision?" Greg took a breath. "We keep Kiva." His expression darkened. "You understand what this means. By refusing our offer, you declare yourselves enemies of the clan." "We're not your enemies," Greg replied. "We just won't trade a child to save ourselves." "Why not?" demanded. "It is logical. Many lives for one worthless life. Any intelligent species makes this trade." Lisa stepped forward. "Because worth isn't measured by strength alone. Because protecting children, all children, is what makes us human. Because some things matter more than survival." "Foolish sentiment," growled. "Sentiment that will kill you all." "Maybe," Lisa said, "but we'd rather die as humans than live as monsters." Studied them through the screen. "You would all die for one runt, every one of you." "Yes," came a voice from the crowd. Then another. "Yes." Soon the entire colony was saying it. A chorus of weak, starving humans all agreeing to die rather than abandon a child they'd known for barely a week. Looked genuinely confused. "This makes no sense. The runt is not even your species." "Doesn't matter," Bates said, stepping forward with her children. "She's a child, that's all that matters." They was about to respond when Kiva pushed through the crowd. She stood in front of the screen, her small body shaking but her head held high. She said in tongue, then switched to English. "These humans are not enemies. They saved my life when Clan abandoned me. They gave me food when they had none. They protected me when I had no value." "You have no value," said harshly. "You are a genetic weakness that should have been culled." Kiva flinched but continued. "Maybe I am weak by standard, but humans taught me that strength comes in different forms. They are starving, yet they share. They are dying, yet they protect. They choose death over dishonor. Is this not strength?" Laughed a cold sound. "That is not strength, that is stupidity." Then why does clan fail while humans survive? Kiva challenged. I access clan records on ship. Our numbers decline each generation. We grow no stronger despite culling weak. These humans are fragile, but they persist. They adapt. They endure. Maybe their way is not stupid. Maybe ours is. This expression changed. For a moment, something like uncertainty crossed his face. You dare question clan law, he said, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. I question law that calls child worthless, Kiva replied. I question law that measures worth only by ability to kill. These humans could have let me die, would have been easy, would have been logical, but they chose different way, better way. Was silent for a long moment. Behind him, other warriors shifted uncomfortably. The clan will not tolerate this defiance, finally said. We will come to surface. We will take the runt by force, and we will destroy anyone who stands in our way. The screen went dark. Lisa pulled Kiva close. We won't let them take you. But they are warriors, Kiva said. Strong and armed. Humans are weak and starving. You cannot fight them. We don't need to fight them, Greg said. We just need to stand our ground. 2 hours later, a landing craft descended to the colony surface. The massive ship settled on the landing pad, dwarfing the small human structures. The entire colony gathered outside. All 87 people, even those who could barely walk. They formed a line between the ship and the medical bay where Kiva had been sleeping. The ship's ramp lowered, emerged first, followed by 12 armored warriors. Each warrior stood over 7 feet tall, covered in muscle and natural armor. They carried weapons that crackled with energy. Approached the human line. He towered over Greg, who stood at the front. Move aside, the commanded. No, Greg said simply. I will order my warriors to remove you, said. Then you'll have to remove all of us, Greg replied. Look down the line. 87 humans, most of them skin and bones, shaking from weakness and fear, but not moving, not stepping aside. This is madness, said. You cannot win. We are warriors. You are starving civilians. We're not trying to win, Bates said. We're just not moving. One of the warriors stepped forward. We can easily push through them. I know that, snapped. Then he looked at the humans again, his expression troubled. But I do not understand why they stand here. What is the purpose? The purpose, Lisa said, is to show Kiva that she matters, that someone will stand up for her, that she's worth protecting. She is a runt, said, but his voice had lost some of its conviction. She's a child, Lisa corrected, and no child should have to face the world alone. From inside the medical bay, Kiva watched through the window. Tears streamed down her face as she saw the entire human colony standing between her and the warriors. Then she made a decision. The small alien ran out of the medical bay. She pushed through the line of humans and stood in the open space between the two groups. Kiva, no, Lisa shouted. But Kiva walked forward until she stood directly in front of. The massive looked down at the small runt who barely reached his chest. I will go with you, Kiva said clearly, but only if you promise not to hurt humans. They did nothing wrong. They only showed mercy. Stared at her. You would sacrifice yourself for them. They sacrificed for me first, Kiva replied. This is what I learned from humans. You protect those who protect you. You stand up for those who cannot stand. You choose right thing even when it is hard thing. For the first time, looked uncertain. He glanced back at his warriors, then at the line of humans, then at the small alien child who stood before him without fear. This is not how runts behave, he said quietly. Maybe runts just need chance to show what they can do, Kiva suggested. Behind, one of the warriors spoke in tongue. The responded sharply, clearly giving orders. Then he looked back at Kiva and did something unexpected. He knelt down to her level, knelt in the dust before Kiva, bringing his massive frame down to her small level. The other warriors made sounds of shock. Did not kneel before runts. "Tell me, small one," said quietly. "Why do you offer yourself to save these weak humans? They cannot protect you. They can barely protect themselves." Kiva looked up at him with clear eyes. "They gave me food when they had none. They gave me home when I had nowhere. They showed me I have worth when everyone else said I did not. This is not weakness. This is greatest strength." His expression shifted. Something that might have been pain crossed his face. "I had a brother once," he said slowly. "He was small like you, weak, could not keep up with the pack. Clan law said he must be removed." This voice dropped. "I was the one ordered to do it. I was young warrior then, eager to prove myself. I did what clan demanded." Silence fell over the area. Even the other warriors stood still, shocked by their leader's confession. "For many cycles I told myself it was right," continued. "Clan law is absolute. The weak must be removed so the strong survive. But sometimes I dream of him. I wonder what he might have become if given chance." Kiva reached out slowly and touched this armored hand. "I am sorry for your brother, and I am sorry clan law made you do this thing." Looked at her small hand on his. "You are not afraid of me." "I am very afraid," Kiva admitted. "But humans taught me that being afraid and being brave can exist together. You do brave thing even when scared. This is courage." The stood slowly. He looked at the line of humans, then at his warriors, then back at Kiva. "I cannot ignore clan law," he said, "but perhaps there is another way." He turned to Greg. "Human administrator, I propose a challenge." "What kind of challenge?" Greg asked warily. "Give Kiva task to prove her worth. If she succeeds, I will report to clan that she has value. If she fails, she returns with us to face clan judgment." "What task?" Lisa demanded. Gestured to one of his warriors who brought forward a data pad. "Our sensors detected problem with your colony systems. Your water recycling unit is failing. You have perhaps 3 days before complete breakdown. We can repair it, but I propose different test. Let Kiva repair it. If she succeeds, she proves that even small and weak can contribute value." "That's impossible," said. "That system has been breaking down for months. Our best engineers can't fix it. How could a child do it?" "Exactly my point," said. "If she cannot, then clan law is proven correct. Runts have no value, but if she can, then perhaps we must reconsider what we believe." Greg looked at Lisa. "Can Kiva even understand our technology?" "I have been studying," Kiva said quietly. "Human machines are different from, but principles are similar. I can try." "You don't have to do this," Lisa said, kneeling beside her. "This isn't fair. They're setting you up to fail." "Maybe," Kiva agreed. "But if I do not try, I fail anyway. At least this way I have chance." Crossed his arms. "You have until sunset tomorrow. If water system is not functioning, you come with us. These are terms." Greg wanted to argue, but Kiva spoke first. "I accept." The warriors returned to their ship. Remained, watching from a distance as the humans led Kiva to the broken water recycling system. The system was a disaster. Pipes leaked, filters were clogged, and the main processor had corrupted data. 3 human engineers had tried to fix it over the past month. All had failed. "This is the problem," one engineer named explained. "The main recycling chamber is blocked. We can't reach it because the access shaft is too small. We tried using tools remotely, but the space is too tight. We can't see what we're doing." Kiva studied the system carefully. She examined the schematics on the computer, then physically inspected the equipment. "I can fit," she said finally. Watt looked confused. "I am small. I can fit through access shaft." Kiva pointed to the narrow opening. "You cannot reach because you are too big, but I can go inside." Lisa immediately shook her head. "Absolutely not. That shaft is barely 18 inches wide. If something goes wrong, you could get stuck or hurt." "But his only way," Kiva insisted. "You said yourself, humans tried and failed because of size. My size is advantage here, not weakness." Scratched his head. She's right. If someone could get inside, they could clear the blockage manually, but it's dangerous. The system still has residual power. One wrong move could result in chemical burns or crushing injuries. Then we teach her what to avoid, Bates suggested. She had joined them with her children. We show her exactly what to do. For the next 6 hours, the human engineers taught Kiva everything about the water recycling system. The small alien learned at an incredible rate, absorbing information like a sponge. She asked smart questions and made connections the humans hadn't considered. "She's brilliant," whispered to Lisa. "She's understanding concepts that took me months to learn." "They called her worthless," Lisa said bitterly. "They are idiots," replied. By evening, Kiva was ready to try. Lisa insisted on being there, along with and 2 other engineers, also approached, watching silently from outside the facility. Kiva stripped off her outer clothing to fit more easily through the narrow shaft. She carried only small tools and a light. The human secured a safety line around her waist. "Remember," said, "follow the path exactly as we showed you. Don't touch the blue pipes. Those are still pressurized. And if you feel trapped at any point, pull the safety line and we'll get you out." Kiva nodded. She entered the access shaft, her small body disappearing into the darkness. The humans watched through a camera they'd attached to her safety line. The view was shaky and dark, lit only by Kiva's small light. "I am at first junction," Kiva's voice came through the radio. "I see blockage, moving closer." "Be careful," Lisa called back. "Don't rush." They watched as Kiva maneuvered through spaces no adult human could fit. Her small size, which they considered a fatal weakness, was now the only thing that could save the colony's water supply. "Blockage is worse than expected," Kiva reported. "It is not just debris. There is damage to the filter housing. I can see where seal has failed." "Can you fix it?" asked. Silence for a moment. Then, "I think so, but I will need to remove old seal and install new one. This will take time." "Take whatever time you need," Greg said. He had joined the group watching. For 3 hours, Kiva worked in the cramped, dark space. The humans could hear her breathing through the radio, steady and focused. Occasionally, she would ask for advice, and the engineers would guide her through complex procedures. Stood in the doorway, his massive form blocking much of the light. He said nothing, but watched intently. "Done," Kiva finally announced. "I have replaced seal and cleared blockage. Testing now." They heard sounds of water flowing. Then the main system display lit up. Numbers that had been red for weeks suddenly turned green. "It's working," said, amazed. "She actually fixed it." Kiva emerged from the access shaft 30 minutes later, covered in grime and exhausted. Lisa immediately wrapped her in a blanket and checked her for injuries. The small alien had several small cuts and bruises, but nothing serious. "You did it," Lisa said, hugging her tightly. "You actually did it." "Was not so hard," Kiva said tiredly. "Just needed someone small enough to reach. Humans could have done same if they were my size." "But they're not," said, stepping forward. All the humans tensed, but they simply looked at Kiva. "You succeeded where larger, stronger beings failed. You used what others called weakness as strength." Kiva looked up at him. "Is this not what life requires? To use what you have, not wish for what you do not have?" Was quiet for a long moment. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He placed his fist over his heart in a salute of respect. "You have proven your worth, small one," he said formally. "I will report this to the clan." "And what will happen then?" Lisa asked. "I do not know," admitted. "Clan law has stood for thousands of cycles. It will not change easily, but I will speak truth. This runt has value. Perhaps other runts do as well." One of his warriors approached. "The elders are calling. They demand report on the runt situation." Activated his communication device. An older face appeared, covered in scars and decorated with clan symbols. "Elder Vex," said respectfully. Why have you not returned the runt to us? The elder demanded. Clan law requires weak cubs be eliminated. This is not debatable. With respect, elder, the runt has demonstrated value. Impossible, runts have no value, this is known. Then our knowledge is incomplete, said firmly. The runt called Kiva has just repaired a complex human system that their best engineers could not fix. She succeeded because her small size allowed access to spaces others could not reach. Elder Vex's expression turned skeptical. One success means nothing. It is anomaly. Or it is evidence that we have been wrong, countered. Elder, I must speak truth even if it is uncomfortable. Our clan numbers decline each generation. We cull the weak, yet we grow no stronger. Meanwhile, species like these humans survive despite being physically inferior. Why? Because they are foolish and lucky, Vex snapped. Or because they do not waste potential, argued. This human colony is dying of starvation, yet they protected Kiva when she had nothing to offer them. They gave her their last food. They stood between her and us, willing to die rather than abandon her. Is this not strength of a different kind? It is weakness and sentiment, Vex said. Then why do they survive when stronger species would have fallen apart? Pressed. Why do they persist when by all logic they should be extinct? The elder had no immediate answer. Kiva stepped forward. May I speak, elder? Vex looked at her with obvious disdain. A runt wishes to address the council. This is unprecedented. Many things today are unprecedented, Kiva said, but I ask permission anyway. Vex made a dismissive gesture. Speak then. Let us hear what wisdom a runt believes she possesses. Kiva took a breath. I do not have wisdom, elder, but I have observation. Humans are weak in body, yes, but they are strong in other ways. They protect each other. They share knowledge. They value all members of their group, not just the strongest, and this makes them resilient. When one fails, others help. When one is hurt, others care. They do not throw away valuable traits just because they come in small packages. Traits like yours, Vex said mockingly. Yes, Kiva said simply. I am small. I cannot fight like warriors, but I can go places they cannot. I can solve problems they cannot. I can see solutions they miss. If Clan had raised me instead of abandoning me, Clan would have had my skills. Instead, humans have them now. You threaten the Clan. Vex's voice turned dangerous. No, elder, I state fact. Every runt thrown away is lost potential, lost ideas, lost skills. Clan grows weaker by throwing away different strengths, not stronger. Elder Vex was silent. Finally, he spoke. Bring the runt to, council will decide her fate and the questions she raises. And the humans asked. Leave them, they are not our concern. The screen went dark. Turn to the colonists. It seems your fate and Kiva's are now separated. Lisa's heart sank. You're taking her. I must, said, but I will argue for her before the council. What happens after that is beyond my control. No, Lisa said firmly, I won't let you take her. You have no choice, replied, but not unkindly. Be grateful. I could demand trade payment for the food I will provide your colony. Food? Greg asked. Yes, Kiva proved her value. That means this trade is now valid. 6 months of supplies as originally offered. You will survive. Looked at Kiva. And perhaps if council rules in your favor, you will see them again. Kiva walked to Lisa and hugged her tightly. Thank you for everything, the small alien whispered. Thank you for sharing your last food with me. Thank you for showing me I have worth. Lisa held her close, tears streaming down her face. You have always had worth, I just helped you see it. Warship departed 2 hours later. Lisa stood on the observation deck, watching until the ship became a small point of light in the sky, then disappeared completely. Kiva was gone. True to his word, had left 6 months of food supplies. The colony had enough to survive now. But the victory felt hollow without the small alien who had brought them together. She'll be okay, Bates said, putting a hand on Lisa's shoulder. She's smart and brave. If anyone can change it's her. She's also just a child, Lisa replied quietly. A child facing an entire civilization that sees her as worthless. Bate had no answer to that. The weeks passed slowly. The colony began to recover with proper food. People gained weight. Strength returned. The medical bay saw fewer emergency visits. Life continued, but something had changed in the colonists. They were different now. Approached Lisa one evening. I've been thinking about what Kiva said, about using what you have instead of wishing for what you don't. We've been approaching our survival all wrong. What do you mean? Lisa asked. We've been trying to survive like we did on Earth, but this isn't Earth. We need to adapt, use our environment differently, be more creative. Showed her plans he'd been developing. New ways to grow food using the local minerals, methods to harvest water from the atmosphere, solutions that didn't require Earth technology. These are brilliant, Lisa said, surprised. I learned it from watching a small alien fix a water system, admitted. Sometimes the best solutions come from thinking differently. Other colonists had similar revelations. Danny started a program teaching children to solve problems creatively instead of just memorizing facts. Bate organized groups that shared skills and knowledge instead of hoarding them. And the engineers designed tools specifically for smaller spaces and different approaches. The colony was changing, becoming something new, all because one small alien had shown them a different way. 3 months passed, then 4. Lisa wondered every day what had happened to Kiva. Was she alive? Had the council accepted her? Or had she been sent to the wild lands like warned? On the 5th month, a ship appeared in orbit. But it wasn't a warship. It was a diplomatic vessel, decorated with clan symbols Lisa didn't recognize. Greg received the communication. Human Colony Haven 7, this is Ambassador Kiva of the Reform Council, requesting permission to land. Lisa's heart nearly stopped. Ambassador Kiva. The voice that responded was familiar but different, more confident, more mature. Yes, Lisa, it is me. May I come home? The colony erupted in cheers. 20 minutes later, the diplomatic ship landed. The ramp lowered and Kiva emerged. She was bigger now, still small by standards, but she had grown. She wore formal diplomatic robes instead of the simple clothes Lisa remembered, but her eyes were the same, kind and intelligent. Lisa ran forward and hugged her. You're alive. You're actually alive. Of course, Kiva said, returning the embrace. You taught me to be survivor, remember? The colony gathered around as Kiva shared her story. When I arrived at council was ready to reject me, she began. Elder Vex argued for traditional punishment. Many supported him but spoke for me. He told them everything. How I fixed the water system. How humans protected me. How I learned from different way of thinking. And they listened, Greg asked. Not at first, Kiva admitted. But then something happened. I challenged them to test. I said if I could solve 3 problems that clan engineers could not solve, they must reconsider clan law about runts. That was risky, said. Very risky, Kiva agreed. But I learned from humans that sometimes you must take risk for right thing. Council agreed, thinking I would fail and prove their point. What were the problems? Asked. First was medical. Plague has been killing cubs for generations. No cure was found. I approached problem differently. Instead of trying to make cubs stronger to fight disease, I weakened disease itself. Used technique humans call vaccine. Problem solved. The humans murmured in amazement. Second was engineering. Clan ships were losing efficiency each cycle. Engineers tried to build stronger engines. I made engines smaller and more efficient instead. Solved problem with less, not more. And the third, Lisa asked. Kiva's expression turned sad. Third was social. Clan was dividing into factions. Strong warriors against strong workers against strong leaders. Everyone trying to prove they were strongest. I showed them that cooperation between different strengths achieves more than competition between similar strengths. Used human colony as example. You survive not by being strongest but by working together. Did they accept it? Bate asked. Not all, Kiva said honestly. Many elders resist change. They say old ways are proven ways, but enough council members saw truth. Especially after revealed he had been keeping records of every runt culled over last 50 cycles. Over 3,000 cubs thrown away. When I showed what just one runt could accomplish, council had to face possibility that they had discarded 3,000 opportunities for innovation. So what happened? Lisa pressed. Reform Council was formed, Kiva explained. New law was passed. All cubs now receive care and training regardless of size or strength. Runts are evaluated for different skills, not punished for lacking warrior skills. It is not perfect yet. Many resist, but change has begun. Danny spoke up, and they made you ambassador. They made me proof, Kiva corrected. I am living evidence that clan law was wrong. I travel to other colonies now showing them new way. Some accept, some reject, but seeds of change are planted. What about your mother? Lisa asked quietly. The clan leader who abandoned you. Kiva's expression was complicated. She came to me after council ruling, said she was wrong, said she had followed clan law without questioning if it was right law. She asked forgiveness. Did you give it? Yes, Kiva said simply. Humans taught me that holding anger only hurts yourself. She acted according to what she was taught. Now she learns different way. She even helps reform council now, speaking to mothers who fear having small cubs. Greg stepped forward. Kiva, this is incredible. You've changed your entire civilization. No, Kiva said, shaking her head. Lisa changed it. When she shared her last piece of food with dying alien cub, she started something much bigger than either of us knew. One act of kindness rippled outward and changed everything. She turned to face Lisa directly. You gave me food when you had none. You protected me when I had no value. You showed me that worth is not measured by strength alone. You taught me to think differently, to see solutions others miss. Everything I accomplished started with your choice to care for one small, worthless runt. You were never worthless, Lisa said firmly. I know that now, Kiva replied. Because you showed me, and now I show others. This is gift that keeps giving. Over the next few days, Kiva shared more changes happening in society. Schools were being reformed to teach all cubs, not just train warriors. Scientists who had been considered weak because they couldn't fight were now valued for their minds. Artists, teachers, and healers who had hidden their talents to avoid shame were now celebrated. It is not perfect revolution, Kiva admitted. Some colonies refuse change. Some families still abandon small cubs, but now there are places those cubs can go. Reform colonies that will take them, raise them, show them their value. And you run these colonies? Bate asked. I help establish them, Kiva said. But others run them. Former runts who survived despite clan law. They understand better than anyone what these cubs need. On her last evening at Haven 7, Kiva walked with Lisa through the colony gardens. The humans had managed to grow real plants now, using techniques adapted from agriculture and human creativity combined. I must leave tomorrow, Kiva said. There are 6 more colonies requesting Reform Council visit. I know, Lisa replied. You have important work. I wanted to thank you again, Kiva said. Not just for saving my life, for showing me what kind of person I could become. You were always that person, Lisa told her. You just needed someone to believe in you. Kiva pulled something from her robes. It was a small crystal glowing softly. This is Memory Stone. It records moments so they can be shared with others. I recorded everything that happened here. Your sacrifice. Colonies stand. The choice humans made to protect me instead of saving themselves. This will be taught in every reform school. Every cub will learn about day human gave her last food to dying alien child and changed 2 species forever. Lisa took the crystal carefully. I just did what anyone would do. No, Kiva said gently. You did what humans do. What makes your species special? You chose compassion when logic said choose survival. You protected weak when strength said abandon them. You gave when you had nothing left to give. This is humanity's gift to galaxy. They stood in silence, watching Haven 7's sun set over the barren landscape. Lisa, Kiva said quietly, I have request. Anything. Reform Council wants to establish cultural exchange program. Send young to live with human families. Learn human ways. We want to create generation that thinks like both species. Would Haven 7 accept students? Lisa smiled. We'd be honored. Good, because I already told them you would say yes. Kiva's expression turned mischievous. I am learning to think like human. Sometimes you must act first and ask permission later. Lisa laughed. You've learned well. The next morning, the entire colony gathered to see Kiva off. She had gifts for everyone. Medical supplies for Lisa. Engineering tools for books for Bates' children. A new security scanner for. These are not payment, Kiva explained. Payment suggests debt. These are gifts between friends, between family. As she boarded her ship, Kiva turned back one last time. I will return in 6 months with first group of students, and I will bring others who want to learn from humans. Your colony will grow again, not just in numbers but in understanding. We'll be ready, Greg promised. The ship lifted off, but this time Lisa didn't feel sad. She felt hope. Bate joined her as they watched the ship disappear. Who would have thought? One protein bar. That's all it took to change everything. Not the protein bar, Lisa corrected. The choice to share it, that's what mattered. 3 years later, Haven 7 had been transformed. The colony now had 200 residents, half human and half. The students had brought knowledge and resources. The humans had brought perspective and innovation. Together, they had built something neither species could have built alone. Kiva visited regularly, now a senior member of the Reform Council. She watched with pride as human children and cubs played together in the gardens, as former warriors learned to teach, as former runts became engineers and scientists and leaders. One evening, she sat with Lisa watching the sunset, just like they had years before. Do you ever regret it? Kiva asked. Giving me that food, you could have kept it, could have survived longer. Lisa looked at the thriving colony around them, at the inhuman families sharing meals, at the children of both species learning from each other, at the proof that compassion could change worlds. Not for a single second, Lisa said. Best trade I ever made. Kiva leaned against her, no longer a terrified cub, but still seeking the comfort of the woman who had saved her. You know what I think about most, Kiva said quietly. Not the grand changes or the Reform Council or the new laws. I think about that moment in the crashed ship, when you knelt down and gave starving alien child your last piece of food. You had every reason to walk away, every logical reason, but you didn't. You chose to care. That moment, that single choice, that is what changed everything. It wasn't even a choice, Lisa admitted. I saw a child who needed help, that's all. The rest just followed naturally. That is exactly what makes it remarkable, Kiva said. For humans, compassion is not grand decision. It is natural response. This is your species' true strength, not your tools or your weapons or your ships. Your strength is that you care about everyone, even alien runts nobody wanted. They sat in comfortable silence as Haven 7's children, both human and, ran through the gardens playing a game neither species had invented alone. Lisa thought about the protein bar, her last piece of food, the thing that should have been her survival. Instead, she had given it to a dying alien child and started a revolution she never intended. Sometimes, she thought, the smallest acts create the biggest changes. Sometimes protecting one small life saves countless others. Sometimes giving away your last piece of food is the best way to ensure everyone eats. She looked at Kiva, now strong and confident, and changing her whole civilization one colony at a time. "You were worth it," Lisa said simply. Kiva smiled, that same gentle smile from the crashed ship years ago. "You taught me I was worth it. Now I teach others." The circle continues. And in the gardens of Haven 7, under a sunset that painted the sky in shades of hope, two species learned that strength comes in many forms, that compassion is not weakness, that protecting the vulnerable is the truest measure of civilization. All because one human woman chose to share her last piece of food with the smallest cub of an alien clan, and in doing so, proved that humanity's greatest strength was not in surviving. It was in caring enough to help others survive too.